Hey guys, it's Curvy Lexie. I know it's been a while you haven't seen me online, but here I am back with a topic. A few weeks ago, so about like the end of last month, 29th of October, on the BBC Two channel, there's been a program that was focusing on obesity that was called Who Are You Calling Fat? And for once, I actually took the time to watch it. I don't really have a tendency to watch much British TV, unfortunately. I'm more like a Netflix fan. But because I interviewed for that program, I happened to be way more curious than usual, and I really wanted to see who gets elected and why, and most importantly, what the topic was really dealing with. Because, as you might know, when you interview for something, you get half of the details, so a lot of questions are asked to you, but you don't really know automatically what will come up at the end. So the result has been there. It was it was live. I watched it. Did you? That's one question. Have you watched the program, the 2 episodes? Who was your favorite in the house, actually? That would be interesting to know if you want to drop a comment in the box. But let me give you my opinion first about it, because I have quite a lot to say, to be honest. So I watched the program, 29th and 30th of October, as I mentioned. It was an interesting topic. So just to give you an idea of what was happening for the ones who haven't watched it, for 9 days, you had 9 plus size or obese people, the way you would like to say it, that were gathered in a house, and the aim was for them to basically interact with each other, and all had a very different relationship with their weight. So the aim was really basically to see the struggle, the positivity, the vocal one, the less vocal ones, the one that have something to say, the one that were activist versus the one that would be more silent. Very interesting topic as a whole, because the aim was really to show us plus size people in a different light. What did I get from it? So I can see 9 people overall, all age included. I think it starts from about 24 years old up to 55 or something, half male, half female. So overall, the panel could be more or less equal, at least of men and women. It goes from, I was actually very surprised, to be honest, because I was expecting, especially me as a blogger, to see more people that I knew from the UK plus size industry, but it was actually pretty anonymous. Maybe 1 or 2 persons were known from the outside, like more Instagram, YouTube, etc. But most of them actually were not. So it gave us a different insight also for like how people live their obesity outside the full plus size industry, the one that we see us as bloggers every day. But as I say, age ranking was really like very young to very old. It was pretty interesting to see how everyone was having a different opinion on this. Culturally wise, it was probably for me lacking a bit of culture. It was lacking a bit of foreign side of things, how we can see also the plus size industry, not only for pure British people, but also foreigners like me that live in the UK and that have evolved in the UK. But that is an opinion. I haven't seen any black female, for example, represented, any Asian female. That would have been also lovely. It was kind of a bit too much white British for me, but that's an opinion, as I say, and not everybody will have to agree on that. In terms of content, so you had the people that were very much having issues with their own weight versus the ones that actually were very much assuming their curves and everything. How can I say that? I think that, in my humble opinion, the panel was so extreme that I couldn't see anything positive coming out of it. It's maybe too straightforward to say that this way, but let me explain myself. We had 9 people that all had a different story. And the story was very different for each of them, so which you have to respect. But we were going from one person that was so vocal about everything being fat shaming and how every single comment regarding weight and obesity was suddenly an insult, to the person that couldn't even stand looking at themselves at all. And whether it was too extreme on one side or too extreme on the other, it was very hard to see the positivity out of it. There was many different characters, and I know that the aim is obviously to create a buzz and to have people talking about it and maybe creating debate, like everything, and like every channel would have done. But coming from the BBC and knowing by interviewing the aim of that program in the first place, I was actually very disappointed that they made it something that was looking like just something too basic, whereas that it could have become a very interesting documentary or something for more people to understand how important right now the plus size industry is becoming, whether you're just big and having issues with it, plus size, big and happy, and also very vocal and being completely anti-fat shaming, etc. But that variety was absolutely not shown in the program, and that's really what was my issue, to be honest with it. So for example, so you have these 9 people that all get to know each other and interact together, or facing people that will come to talk to them, talking about health, talking about diabetes, talking about what could happen to them. Also, should they stay also too long obese, which is something to consider. But nothing was shown in a way that plus size people could also be happy and healthy and making something good with themselves. And that's the part I find a bit sad. Let me explain myself. Like, for example, half of the cast was so pretty negative about their weight. One person, I think his name was, Jack, was actually very interesting because he was losing weight at the moment and explaining why for his family, his wife, etc., and which I found very, very humble, and actually really like his attitude. He was showing a good image, doing sport, etc. And then you had Sarah, who was an ambassador for Obesity UK. So she had a very, very interesting point, showing pros and cons about how the plus and the cons later on that could happen if you stay obese also too long, etc. And that was very interesting to see their point of view. And Dell was a man in his 50s who actually went through gastric bypass, and he explained why he went through that. He was still a plus size man, but he was at a level of obesity where he couldn't do anything anymore, and his story was actually very interesting. So all of that was very good. But ultimately, when those 9 people had been put in the same house and had to do the basic, like doing shopping, building discussions, and showing to the world, or at least to the whole UK, what was the plus size industry about and what was obesity about, well, that's where things came wrong. So for example, you put those 9 people around the table and say, okay, let's do food shopping. And have you seen a vegetable in the order? If you watched it, honestly, I was so shocked because the order was basically crisp, cookies, Mars and Snickers bars, fizzy drink, takeaway, because the first thing we're asking for, oh, can we have a takeout? Okay. As I say, pack of crisp everywhere in the cupboard. I haven't seen a vegetable. I haven't seen anything healthy. I haven't seen any meal around the table that was looking like plus size people could be big, but also eating properly. And I found that really, really alarming, because that showed a part of the relationship of obese people with their weight and the relationship to food that was actually really negative. I am plus size. I am very plus size. A lot of my friends are, and I had discussions with a few of my friends actually during that the past few days, because I really wanted to study the topic and get everybody's opinion before I could talk to you. And all of them actually were ending up saying the same thing. There was no example to show that we could be plus size and happy. And funny enough, I kind of understood why at the end I was not selected. I do think that actually that was the reason. I think I'm just too normal. Reason? Because you can be plus size. You can have a happy life. You can love looking at yourself in the mirror and be happy with it. And it's fine too. But you can also do sports, have a happy living, have a healthy living, eating like any other person, and still being a size 18, 20, 22, or no matter what. And this part was absolutely not represented in the documentary. There was one woman in particular, Victoria. I really put my hopes in her, because she was supposed to be the fat activist that was working really hard on people, on coaching people to make them understand you could be fat and happy. And I really thought that she would make something amazing out of her talk, so people could understand what a lot of other also plus size people are living. But nothing came positive out of it. She was stubborn. She was consistently obsessed with making a point and taking everything so personally that nothing was satisfying. Everything was fat shaming. Everything was against, oh, you can never say that someone can be obese and not happy and all of that. But girl, if at some point you're losing your foot for diabetes, what do you do? Are we talking still fat shaming? When your health is in danger, you need to do something for yourself. And that's where she was not getting a word of it. She was not understanding it. Everything was an attack. And that kind of worried me, because I'm like, if this girl is capable to coach people and giving them a purpose by they need to accept themselves, which is really good, by the way, you need to accept yourself. But you can't be stubborn about it. If your health is in danger, or if something can happen to you related to your weight, you need to do something for it. I actually have my whole admiration for Dell, actually, that really did something for himself. He couldn't stand up anymore, he couldn't walk, he couldn't do anything. He had the gastric bypass. Well, you didn't cut yourself. You're a fat person, but fat is not everything that you are. You decided to take care of your health because you couldn't do anything anymore. And I'd rather be slightly slimmer than dead, if you have to choose. And the way that Victoria woman was just showing herself was clearly showing us either fat or dead. That was sad. That was really not good. I was really not happy with that. There's some... I couldn't get the... I was hoping that I would get attached to a character. That there was one of them, at least, that will crush my heart and make me feel like, yes, you're showing good, girl, or man, or whatever. But... I didn't get that. The ones I had I had hopes for David and Courtney. They were plus-size influencers. They're known on the ground by some people. They're followed by many. I really thought they would show that happy and healthy living, etc., that a lot of plus-size people like me are living. And I don't know if the BBC has cut most of the things they had to say. It could be possible also, because we never have control of what happens after the editing. But... they were so silent. Nothing came out of it. Nothing, I think they barely spoke, actually, during the whole program. 2 hours, nothing. So, yeah, I'm a bit frustrated. Yeah, there was a lot of things done for that program. I think they really put the minds to it. But what did really happen? What is the kind of conclusion that people will make of it? I'm a bit worried about that, because there was no one to lift the spirit. The only person actually that tried to lift that spirit was actually Trina, so big up to my girl. Trina was the dance teacher. She went to the house to give them a bit of body confidence and body positivity, and actually I was really sad to see so little engagement from that. It was really, it was a bit poor, because this girl is amazing, and I know because I follow her dance classes, and she's doing so much for people. She's really showing people how to be body confident and how to try to live with your curves in your body on an everyday basis, and didn't get the success he should have had. And I know you can't control, but when you don't have the right audience, what can you get from them also? I think that's what I was wondering to myself. So I'm very 50-50. I know why I'm not there. I know why I didn't go, at least, or I haven't been picked. I kind of know why my friends would have not been picked neither, because knowing them, they're clearly two fat, happy, bubbly chicks, and they would have never worked in this house. But I can assure you that though, if we do a program and all of us are in it, that would definitely be something to watch. But food representation of how obese people are living and eating was not shown, because obviously it was only we eating crisp and pizzas. The aspect of you can be plus size and take care of yourself was not shown. Definitely not. One of the people there, Jed, was actually suddenly being very conscious about his weight and everything. I think, no disrespect, because I think he's probably a person that went through a lot, and I don't want to judge on that. But he probably has used for a very long time his humor, and the fact that he was doing stand-up comedy as a way to protect himself from the fact of being fat. It's always easier to make fun of yourself. At least people don't feel like they have to make fun of you in a certain way. So this kind of protective instinct of just making fun of you, at least you're cool, and people just think that you don't care, was definitely the way he was approaching his obesity. But he suddenly became very conscious about that after meeting someone that got amputated. Good on him. Very happy to see that, actually. You see someone, the consequences, you want to do something different for yourself. Kudos, honestly, go for it. But where in the program have we seen someone that was actually, as I say, big, eating well, doing sport, and doing checkups? Because apparently most of them were actually not doing much medical checkups. And knowing for sure they had no cholesterol, no diabetes, and all of that. And all of this, I couldn't find it in one person. This is not representative of the plus-size industry. This is not representative of big people. This is not showing how a lot of women, especially because we show way less, I guess, the approach of plus-size men nowadays, but how a lot of people who are big or also having a normal lifestyle. Okay, yes, sometimes losing breath, etc. All of that is happening. I am not saying that being big is the perfect example of healthy lifestyle, but though we cannot deny that we can also be big and healthy. I am doing sports, I am dancing, I am going to swim. I have a great lifestyle in terms of like home lifestyle. My husband and I are cooking very well together. We're doing great dishes, and we eat quite a lot of vegetables too. I love eating, don't get me wrong. I have pizzas, I have burgers, I have everything you want. But I mean, ultimately, this is not the only thing I'm eating, and that was not portrayed neither. I have very good blood tests. I'll let you know. I never had diabetes so far, cholesterol and all of that. And the only thing I got in my life most times are actually due to my stress, but never to my weight. And same thing. Have you seen people like this? No, you haven't. Would you have wanted to see them? That's a question also. What were you looking for in that program when you watched it? And what did you get from it? If you have seen any positivity in the program, honestly share it with me, because maybe there's a part I haven't seen myself. And maybe something that I was not too focused on, or maybe just something that, because I was a bit mad of the way they have approached most of the topic, maybe I have closed my eyes a bit. But I'm more than happy to listen to any comments you have to do on it. So I'm gonna stop now. So thank you again for following this video, and please don't forget to like, comment, share, and follow me on Instagram under Curvy Lexie 28. It was actually really lovely to speak to you again. I know it's been way too long, and I promise that I will not make myself silent for so long, but I really appreciate again all the follow, and I would like to send you all my love. And please do not forget to give your opinion of this program in the box under, and I would be more than happy to keep talking with you about it. So you take care, and we speak soon, okay? Bye!